Good evening. J. Michael TX reporting here on Monday, August the 7th, 2017. And I'd like to give you a quick demo of how to use the Chrome inspection tool. Now, you might ask, why do I want to do this? Well, sometimes you might want to automate the selection and control of a web page using JavaScript in a browser. And you can do this using AppleScript, using JavaScript for automation, JXA, using Keyboard Maestro, execute a script, a variety of ways to do this. But in all cases, we need to be able to write a JavaScript that will operate on the particular web page element of interest. That might be clicking on a link, it might be clicking on a button, or filling in one or more form fields and then submitting the form. It could even process multiple pages. But the main purpose here is to show you how to use the Chrome inspection tool, okay? This will not get into the JavaScript. We'll cover that in a later video. So the steps that we're going to follow here are, number one, we're going to open up a web page in Chrome. This is obviously the page that you want to automate. We'll then invoke the Chrome inspect tool on one or more selected web page elements that we want to control. And then we will look at the Chrome development environment where we can view, inspect, and explore the HTML code for the selected element. And ultimately, we want to identify the HTML elements, tags, and attributes that we need for our JavaScript. And most of the time, this is the tag and its attributes like class, ID, name, and sometimes other attributes. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, I have switched to the Chrome browser where I already have a web page open that I'm interested in and that I'll use for this example. And you can see there are a variety of form fields here. I'm just going to show you one, which is kind of the most interesting one. This one that shows the personal constant. If I click on that, you can see I have a number of choices. So let's say what we want to be able to do is from our JavaScript, select that form field and set it to a particular value. Okay, so we got to find out how to identify that form in HTML JavaScript. So I'm going to right click on the form and I'm going to come down and select inspect. Your pop-up here might be a little different depending on what you have installed, but it should have somewhere on the list an inspect. Okay, having selected the inspect tool, that brings up the Chrome development tools, and I've got it set up here where it's in a separate window. When you bring it up on your system, it'll probably be attached to the web page. But you should see at least a panel that looks somewhat like this one, okay? Now, the first thing you want to notice is this area that on my system is highlighted in blue. It might be a different color on yours, but you'll see a HTML element that is highlighted. And this represents the element which we chose to inspect. Okay, so this is the one where we want to learn how to control. Now, the first thing I want to do is if that element has a right-facing triangle on it, click on that to expand that element so we can see all of it. Now I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. And this is the element that we want to control. And you can see here all these option values. This represents the choices that we had for that drop down back on the web page. Okay, so the key thing that we want to note here is we want to do a screen capture so that we can have it for reference and maybe to get help from others, of this element and the elements around it. Many times there will be above it, there will be other divide tags, div tags, that will be of interest to us. So you want to go up at least one or two elements to do the screen capture. Now, let me also note that we're looking for tag attributes of things like class, but there is a name attribute and there is an ID attribute that may be of interest to us. Okay, so we want to do a screenshot that captures a couple elements above the element of interest and a couple elements below. So, for example, using the built-in Mac screenshot tool that captures a region to the clipboard, I'll go up here and say, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go all the way up here and then come down. And you can kind of look at this and determine, you know, where you see things of interest. Better to have too much than too little. So I'm going to select that. Okay, I've got a screenshot now that I can use to further analyze what I need to do. Okay, and that's really all there is to it. We have now captured the data we need to identify the HTML elements, tags, and attributes for our JavaScript. And now the challenging part is to figure out how to write the JavaScript. But we got to have good source data. So that's really all there is to it. Thank you for watching.